The day you are waiting for will never come because it is psychological time. This means you are waiting for a day that does not exist in reality. You are not waiting for Monday. You are not waiting for next year. You are not waiting for an event. You are waiting for a feeling of relief, completion, vindication, superiority, freedom from inner discomfort. That day is not on the calendar, it is in thought. Psychological time is not time, clock time is real. It moves whether you think about it or not. Psychological time is invented, it exists only as narration. I was this, I am becoming that, I will finally arrive. That narration is the mind trying to escape discomfort now. Why the day never comes? The mind believes when that day comes, this restlessness will end. But when any future moment arrives, it becomes now, and now is never an ending. Now is just life happening. So the mind immediately creates another future. This is not a bug, this is the mind's survival mechanism. If the mind ever truly arrived, it would have no reason to exist. Why you feel lost when you crave? The moment you crave success, revenge, admiration, validation, a different version of yourself, you have left reality. You are no longer responding to life. You are negotiating with an image. That division creates fatigue. That fatigue is what you call lost. There is no ultimate. The idea of an ultimate is psychological safety. It says, endure now, relief is coming later. But life does not operate that way. Life has no conclusion, only movement. The search for an ultimate is resistance to this fact. So, what you are supposed to do? Nothing. And that terrifies the mind. Nothing does not mean inactivity. It means stop seeking psychological completion. Stop postponing peace. Stop arguing with now. When that stops, action becomes simple. Work becomes clean. Effort reduces. Intelligence functions. Direction is functional. Destination is psychological. You can say, I'm building wealth. That's direction. But when you say, I'll finally be okay when I'm wealthy, that's illusion. There is nothing there waiting to complete you. Not because wealth is bad, but because completion is not a result. So the sentence, the day you are waiting for will never come. It does not deny the future. It denies the fantasy that psychological resolution lives there. That's all. When this is seen, ambition becomes lighter, effort becomes cleaner, comparison weakens, envy loses fuel, silence appears naturally, not as practice, as a byproduct of clarity. So, you are not rejecting life, you are rejecting the lie that life begins later. That's the difference. Psychological time kills the doer. The doer dies the moment self reference enters, not because you failed, not because you lacked in discipline, but because attention split. Action requires totality, psychological time requires division. The instant you ask, am I enough yet? Will this lead somewhere? Will this make me complete? You are no longer acting, you are negotiating with the future. That negotiation drains energy. So, yes, psychological time kills the doer. See, sex, money, status, revenge, achievement, all of them produce temporary bodily reactions. A rush, a release, a chemical shift. Then it's gone, and the mind immediately asks, what's next? So, yes, even getting there changes nothing fundamentally, which means chasing it for decades is just playing a long, exhausting psychological game. You are not missing the prize, you are saying that the prize was never real. Why improvement can still be a trap? If you are making improvement and it feels good, it's still a game with the mind. Correct. Because the mind says, I'm progressing, I'm becoming better, I'm closer. That is still identity in motion. It feels refined, it feels mature, but it is still becoming. Freedom is not found in winning the game. Freedom is found in seeing the game. Performer and watcher, what they really are. They are not enemies, they are functions of self consciousness. The watcher says, let me monitor myself. The performer says, let me become impressive. Both are self referential loops. They don't exist to free you, they exist to maintain the self image. So, yes, as long as they dominate, you are playing a game with the mind, not free of it. What freedom from the mind actually means? Freedom from the mind does not mean no thoughts, no evaluation, no desire, permanent doer state. That idea itself is a mental fantasy. Freedom from the mind means thought no longer dictates action. Thought may appear, evaluation may appear, desire may appear, but they no longer own the center. Action is primary, thought is secondary, that's all. First, is there anything ultimate to attain? No. And the mind hates this fact. The idea that there is an ultimate is not truth, it is psychological security. The mind says, one day I'll arrive, one day it will be complete, one day I'll be free, respected, admired, untouchable. That one day never arrives because it is not real time, it is psychological time. Direct versus indirect experience. Direct experience is hunger, pain, joy, silence, walking, breathing, lifting a weight, looking at the sky. It happens now and needs no interpretation. Indirect experiences, one day I'll prove them wrong, one day I'll be rich, one day she'll regret rejecting me, one day I'll live like Dhoni, one day I'll be above them. These are not experiences, they are mental movies. You are not living them, you are watching yourself as a future character. That's the illusion. Why craving makes you feel lost? The moment craving appears, attention leaves reality. You are no longer in your body, in your breath, in the room, in the present task. You are now inside a narrative. And narratives have no end because every achievement only asks, now what? Osho was precise here. One purpose leads to another and another endlessly. Not because life is cruel, but because purpose is a mental invention, not a property of life. Revenge fantasies, success fantasies, lifestyle fantasies. Let's be brutally honest. Revenge fantasies are not about the other person, they are about repairing a wounded image. Success fantasies are not about money, they are about being seen as enough. Celebrity envy is not about lifestyle, it is about escaping ordinariness. None of these have anything to do with reality, they are identity bandages. The perfect ending you keep craving. This is the most important part. The mind secretly believes if I reach that ending, psychological discomfort will stop. But psychological discomfort is created by the search itself. So the mind is creating the problem, offering the solution, chasing its own tail. There is no ending because the search is the moment. So there is nothing to do? Correct. And the mind panics here. Nothing to do does not mean stop working, stop earning, stop training, stop building. It means stop seeking psychological completion through outcomes. Action still happens, but it is clean, not compensatory. You lift weights because the body moves. You work because intelligence applies itself. You earn because function requires resources, not because this will finally fix me. Listen carefully. The moment craving enters, you are fragmented. The moment you drop the fantasy, there is relief. Silence feels more real than ambition. Becoming feels heavy. Being feels light. This is not philosophy. This is direct observation. So, there is no ultimate. There is no final arrival. There is no perfect ending. There is no psychological victory. And when this is seen, not believed, ambition becomes functional, not desperate. Money becomes a tool, not an identity. Women become people, not symbols. Status loses its hypnotic power. Life becomes simple, not small, simple. You don't need to destroy dreams. You don't need to suppress desire. You only need to see that psychological time is imaginary. And when illusion is seen clearly, it collapses on its own. No effort required. Why one day never arrives? Here is the brutal truth. When one day comes, it becomes today. And today is never the ending, it is only now. So the mind immediately says, okay, now the next thing. This is not a mistake, this is how the mind survives. If the mind ever truly arrived, it would collapse. Because it exists only through becoming, so it cannot allow completion. So psychological security is the feeling, I will be okay later. Notice, later, not now. The mind says, when I earn enough, when I am respected, when I prove them wrong, when I am desired, when I am free, this when is not a date on the calendar. It is a fantasy of completion. The security doesn't come from the event. It comes from believing the event will end discomfort. That belief itself is the drug. So what's left then? What's left is direct living. You work, but not to become someone. You earn, but not to fix your past. You train, but not to justify your existence. You relate, but not to fill a hole. Life becomes non psychological, simple, ordinary, accurate. Seeing this does not make you passive, it makes you undivided. Most human energy is wasted in hoping, regretting, proving, becoming. When that stops, action becomes efficient and quiet. Not peace, not bliss, not enlightenment, clarity. And clarity has no future. It only exists now. So, why this feels like liberation? It feels liberating because a lie has been seen. The lie was, if I get that experience, I'll be done. But every energy is a temporary chemical event. Every peak fades. Every arrival immediately becomes normal. The mind then asks for more. This is not philosophy for you anymore. It's observed fact. When a lie is seen as a lie, energy returns. That's a liberation you're feeling. Direct experience walking, lifting, working, breathing, building, speaking, silence. No story, no future, no interpretation. Indirect experience. This will make me bold. This will define me. This will prove something. One day this will end. Indirect experience is always about later. And living in indirect experience drains life. The mind will still crave, and that's okay. This is crucial. The body will still want pleasure. The mind will still imagine futures. Thought will still arise. Freedom is not the absence of these. Freedom is not believing they will complete you. When belief drops, craving becomes lighter. It no longer hijacks action. Why this supports the doer? You are not becoming the doer. You are removing the promise, the bargain, the future payoff. So action is no longer delayed by, will this finally give me something? That is why action feels clean. Remember, direct experience does not promise fulfillment. Indirect experience always does and never delivers. That's why there's relief. Now, don't turn this into a rule, a philosophy, a practice, an identity. Let it remain a simple saying, ha, this is just a temporary reaction. Nothing is being completed. When that is seen, action resumes naturally. No effort, no discipline, no heroism. Just life moving without the psychological bargain. You are not escaping life, you are stopping the postponement of life. So, what you've seen is simple and final, not dramatic. Every ultimate is a temporary body reaction. Every high fades. The mind always asks for the next experience. Completion is never delivered, only promised. That promise is psychological time. Seeing this does not stop action. It removes the bargain attached to action. So you act without wanting to be completed, without postponing okay-ness, without living for one day. Direct experience remains. Indirect experience loses its grip. Not because you are free forever, but because the illusion is seen when it appears. That is enough. Nothing to hold, nothing to become, just clarity now.